Okay, we're gonna look at this document. What should we name this document? Sumner versus Brooke, fight, lash, beating, Sumner versus Brooks. Doesn't that sound better than just document F? It shows that we know something, right? So, if we were to describe this doc, what would we say is going on? Okay, so let's talk about who's who. So who's this guy right here? Brooks is doing what? Beating Sumner with a cane, right? That is the description of the document. Okay, so we know, what can we say historically is going on? Why did Brooks leave the House chamber to go thoroughly beat Sumner? What has Sumner done? He said something in a speech in the Senate, right, about what? What was he talking about? This is the, well, he makes, but was it really about South Carolina? No, he just threw out some epithets at them, right? But what was he really discussing? Slavery where? In Kansas. And what else? What had gone so wrong in Kansas? The voting, because of what? Everybody was coming in. So tell me who was coming in. Well, Southerners, people from Missouri, right? Border ruffians who were trying to vote often and be scandalous in their voting. Who else was coming in to vote in Kansas that he was talking about? There was free soilers, there was abolitionists, right? So the historical situation here is that Sumner was giving a speech called The Crime Against Kansas. Okay, that's a historical situation here. He was giving a speech called The Crime Against Kansas. And what was the crime? What was the bad thing that was introduced that he was saying? Y'all talked about voting, so what is this whole thing about people being able to, of a territory, to determine popular sovereignty? He was talking about popular sovereignty. And was he like, this is great, or this wasn't? He didn't feel it was good because it brought in what types of people y'all just listed. Wait, I'll stop. I know y'all are writing. Right, so who did it bring in? Border ruffians from Missouri who are trying to vote Kansas to be what? Slave. Okay, we also had abolitionists and free soilers coming in trying to make it free. Were there some other contingents that were crazy people that he also mentioned? John Brown, okay. There was bloodshed, right? Wasn't there a tricky document? What was it? The Lecompton Constitution. He's talking about Kansas in thorough, right? Okay, so who do you think of this? I know we got a lot on historical situation, right? We even have notes that we could go back to, right? Why polarization? I want you to think, can we tell who the intended audience of this is? No. The magazine, the excerpt, the caption was not given. So can we tell the point of view? Can we tell the purpose? No. So here we're going to do historical situation. So now let's look at our categories and figure out what this deals with. Is this economy? Is this peopling, movement, and migration? He's talking about what? Kansas. He's talking about slavery in the territories, and is he talking about people moving here? Yes, this is definitely peopling, movement, and migration. Is this identity? Is this politics and power? Yes. It is thorough. It's thorough that they cannot act, right? That this whole issue of slavery has gone up to the upper echelons of our government. Is this geography? Sorry. Is this America and the world? Is this belief systems? Yeah, the belief in popular sovereignty, because right now, can I now predict something that's gonna happen to my parties? Because of this, what's gonna happen to our parties? What party's gonna split? Yes, and that's the causation of this, that we're gonna see that split. Right? So let's go to our next document. What are we gonna call this document? The Freeport Doctrine. Right, I'm going to read this and we're going to summarize together. It says, the next question propounded to me by Mr. Lincoln is, so Lincoln asked him a what? Question. But do we really need to write that down? Okay, he says, can the people of a territory in any lawful way, against the wishes of any citizens of the United States, exclude slavery from their limits prior to the formation of a state constitution? So he's asking, what can the people what? Prevent slavery from coming into their what?
Property.
Not their property, their territory. Can the people prevent slavery from coming into their territory?
I think it's only,
Huh?
isn't it only in their territory?
In their territory before it becomes a state. Right?
Yeah.
Before it becomes a state. So write that down. Can the people prevent slavery in their territory? Okay, are we good with that one? Let's keep on reading. It says, I answered empathetically, as Mr. Lincoln has heard me answer 100 times from every stump in Illinois, that it is my opinion the people of a territory can, by lawful means, exclude slavery from their limits prior to the formation of a state constitution. So what is Douglas' response? The people can exclude slavery from their what? Territory.
Is this gonna?
Okay, are we ready to go? It says, Mr. Lincoln knew that I had answered that question over and over again. He heard me argue that of the Nebraska bill on the principle over the state in 1854, in 1855, and in 1856. And he had no excuse for pretending to be in doubt to my position on the question. So what is he saying? Lincoln knows, right? That he defends what? Popular sovereignty. Lincoln should know I defend popular sovereignty. Okay, so he says, it matters not what way the Supreme Court may hereafter decide as to the abstract question, whether slavery may or may not go into the territory under the Constitution. So what does he say about the Supreme Court? Do they have a voice in this? No, that's the first part, so write that down. The Supreme Court does not have a voice in this matter. So the Supreme Court does not have a voice in this matter. The people have the lawful means to introduce or exclude it as they please. So who has the authority?
People.
The people have the authority over the issue. Right? For that reason, slavery cannot exist a day or an hour anywhere unless it is supported by the local police regulations. So, slavery can exist because of what? Popular sovereignty or local laws, right? Okay. The police regulations can only be established by the local legislator. And if the people are opposed to slavery, they will elect representatives to that body who will, by unfriendly legislation, effectually prevent the introduction of it into their midst. Or, if, on the contrary, they are for it, the legislation will favor its extension. So basically, he's saying the people will create what? What are they going to create?
Pardons for
They're going to create what first? Laws that are either what? For or against slavery. And that's how the people will have the voice. The people will create the laws. So the people will create the laws either for or against slavery. Is that in our own words now? Hence, no matter what the decision of the Supreme Court may be on that abstract question, still the right of the people to make a slave territory or a free territory is perfect and complete under the Nebraska bill. I hope Mr. Lincoln deems my answer satisfactory on that point. So he's saying the Nebraska bill allows for people to do what? To have slaves or not have slaves without whose authority? The Supreme Court. Okay, so we got it summarized. What is the historical situation of this document? This is Douglas responding to Lincoln. What is this? This is the election of what? The Senate seat where? What state are they in? They're not in Nebraska. In Illinois. They're in Illinois. They're running for the Senate seat in Illinois. Okay. What else are they discussing here? What issue do you think Douglas is bringing up? Because he's bringing up popular sovereignty, but where is he talking about?
Slavery territories.
What territory is he really mentioning where it's gone crazy?
Nebraska.
Is it Nebraska or is it Kansas?
Kansas.
It's Kansas. He's bringing up the stuff that is going on in Kansas. Okay. Who do you think his intended audience is? People of Illinois who are gonna do what? Vote for what? He's trying to attract the voters for his Senate seat, right? Okay, this is him talking about trying to get reelected. He's trying to attract voters. Okay, what do you think his purpose is? By going through this, what is his purpose? To attract voters, well, it's his intended audience, so he could win what? The Senate seat. Okay, let's look at our categories now. Is this beliefs? Yeah, these beliefs will divide up our political parties, right? Is this America and the world? Is this geography and the environment? Is this politics and power? Yes. Is this identity? No. Is this people in movement and migration? It's talking about a territory. Is this people moving into a territory and getting to decide on their own? Yes. Is this economy? Okay. So now let's look at our last document. This is document H. What are we going to title this?
Election results. What is this?
The election results. Or the election results from the 1860 election. Okay, so what can we tell from this map? The election results? Okay, well, no. Okay, they're divided. Who wins in the north? Who wins in the south? Okay, there we go. That is us being descriptive about this map. In the north, the Republicans win. In the south, the Democrats win. Okay. What else can we tell from this? Besides that one party wins in the north, one party wins in the south. What else? Look at the numbers there.
Minority vote.
Lincoln got the minority vote and became the president, so he became the minority president. Did he clearly win? But was it to a point like the people said he clearly won? No, he's a minority president. Lincoln is a minority president. What else can you tell from this data? Lincoln only won because of what on that data? The Democrats split. We have northern and southern Democrats. Okay. So now let's go through the historical situation. What is going on? What can we say?
The union's breaking up.
Why can't we say the union's gonna break up?
We're finally polarized.
The divine.
Well, the divide's there, and what has been threatened?
If Lincoln is elected,
If a Republican is elected, who has threatened secession?
South Carolina.
Have they threatened this before 1860?
Yes.
They threatened this in 1856, right? When Buchanan won. Have they threatened this before? Yes. When did they threaten this? With the tariff. That's historical situation, right? They have threatened secession. If a Republican wins in 1860, they threatened this in 1856 when Buchanan won, and they threatened this with the tariff. Okay, what else can we say? What else can I talk about historically to be able to explain this? Could I go through the political parties' platforms here? Because if you're saying that they're gonna leave because of the Republicans, don't I have to talk about the Republican Party platform? Why did the Southerners dislike the Republican Party platform? Is it really against slavery? That they're like, heck, we're abolitionists, peace out, we don't like slavery. No, they had taken whose stance about slavery? The Free Soilers about what about slavery? It couldn't go where? Westward into the territories. Is that a little bit more specific now? Okay, so you could talk about the Republican Party platform. Is there a lot more about the Republican Party platform that the Southern Democrats didn't like? Yeah, the extension of internal improvements, right? Free soil, free homesteads. Could you also talk about what was the deal between the Southerners and the Northern Democrats? What has happened to them? Oh, the Northerners wanted popular sovereignty and the Southerners wanted what? Dred Scott. If they would have stayed together, could they have beaten Lincoln? Yes. And then we wouldn't have had what? The Civil War. What else can I explain here? Historically. We've talked about the Northern Democrats, Southern Democrats, talked about the Republican Party platform, we talked about how South Carolina has threatened secession. But causation. Now they secede, right? South Carolina, the first one's there. What else happens?
6 others.
6 others go and they form what?
The Confederate.
Now do I have the Civil War? Yes. Okay, so this is our buildup. This is our last document. Okay? So is there a point of view with this map? No. Is there intended audience of this map? Is there a purpose of this map? Right? Let's look at our categories of this map. Is this economy? Is this people in movement and migration? Is this identity? Is this politics and power? Is this geography? Is this America and the world? Is this beliefs? Yeah, beliefs of political parties. Excuse me.